Hey everybody, this is kind of a part two, but not at the same time. This is a video of its own subject, but I started recording this video in my last video because I'm on the Zero FXE that got loaned from English Electric Motor Company to make some videos and a review on. And because I've done some green lanes and I realised the video was probably long enough, I thought, well, let's talk about the subjects I want to talk about on the way home through the green lanes. So yes, I'm about to go green laning and we're going to talk about the TT. So obviously the Isle of Man TT, one of the most insane road races that exists. 180, 190 miles an hour through cities, through towns, and villages, skimming off of concrete walls, flying through the air, just utter ridiculousness, with absolutely no runoff space, nothing like that whatsoever. I think it's 218 or something people have died at the TT, which is not a lot. People are losing their mind over this because 3 people have died in the TT in 2022. And it is very sad, but I think actually statistically 200 and something people dying in the amount of years that the TT has run is impressive considering what they're doing. And of course, it always leads, when you get multiple deaths, to people saying it should be banned, it's too dangerous. The only people saying that, the people sat at home, are too scared to even contemplate the idea of doing it, let alone it existing. The racers know what they're doing. They live with the consequences. They know what they're doing. That's it. It's their decision to do. It's not for other people to say that this is too dangerous and we shouldn't be doing it. Think of the poor riders. Think of the riders. They know what they're doing. Why do you think you know better than them as to the risks of it and how bad it is and whether it's worth doing or not? Why don't you trust their opinion on it rather than you that's never done it? Or maybe, okay, there may be people out there that have done it and no, it shouldn't be done anymore. I can understand no one wants to see friends die, no one wants to see well-known figures die and things like that, or anyone, And also, if you did make it safer, because, people do say, well, make it safer. Well, they do put padded pads and protection on some walls and things where people have died to help, and I don't think anyone's going to complain about that. But if you completely made it safe, if you sterilised the TT, well, one, it couldn't exist because it just wouldn't work. I don't know, you can't get rid of houses and stuff that are there. It just wouldn't be the TT. How many people die trying to climb Everest every year? Quite often these people aren't pros, aren't experts, aren't the creme de la creme of climbers. They're people with enough cash to do it, and they die up there. Loads of them. They're literally piling up in places. And no one seems to say we should stop doing that. See, in the past, you had people in your cave, as it were, who would leave the cave, who would push the frontiers, who would go to the next valley, to go to the next thing. They would take risks, and maybe they'll find like a paradise beyond there with food and, oh no, maybe you don't have any fish. You're not anywhere near a river. And then this person pushes over 2 valleys and goes, did you know there was a massive fish pond around there? There's so many fish. I've been eating fish for days. And they're like, what? But we would have never have known if it were not for you travelling and going to that place. Those are the thrill seekers. Those are the people, the adrenaline junkies in a way, who want to do these things. And these people will always exist. And they will always entertain us by racing stuff around and being generally mental to most of us. But to them, it's worth it. Nearly squished a squirrel! Mr. Squirrel, you should reconsider your sport before you get hurt. And I think all of us as bikers understand that perspective of it. It's because, you ride a bike, there is an inherent risk to it. I mean, one of the things that always gets said to me, I am not a fan of open-face motorcycle helmets. I think they are a poor decision to use. If you wish to use one, that is within your rights to do so, but I can still advise new riders that I think, at least to start with, use a full face to, cover for the mistakes you're very likely to make. However, one of the most common arguments against this is just, well, if you're worried about safety, why ride a motorcycle in the first place? It's such a dumb perspective. And actually, the way I sort of argue this point is, okay, so a chin bar on a motorcycle helmet is there in place to reduce injury to yourself should you have an accident and you think it's a bad idea. Do you use a seatbelt in a car, a device put in place to make sure that if you have a crash, you don't get so hurt? People don't look at it like a seatbelt. You don't, you know, how many people drive around going, I don't use a seatbelt because of freedom, I want to feel the steering wheel in my face. My point being, yes, things are inherently dangerous and there are things that we can do to make them mildly safer in places, but overall, some things like the TT just have to remain dangerous and will remain for a long time. I think it doesn't matter how many people go naysay. If they want to run it, they'll run it. And the Isle of Man, you know, they seem to have an understanding sort of thought on this, which is, what are you doing? Jesus Christ! I thought that dog was going to come through the window and get me! Jesus! He was mad! Hates electrics. So yeah, okay, there could be bits and pieces done here and there to make it safer over the years, but inherently you can't make it that safe. And you shouldn't, because it would ruin it. And at the end of the day, it's up to the people that are doing it anyway, as I've said. I think we all know that, but I mean, it was worse this year, you know, getting 3 in like 4 days or something. But then again, it wasn't run for 2 years. You know, 2020 and 2021, they didn't run TT because of COVID. So it's almost expected to have more crashes, accidents and deaths because, you know, people are a little rusty, maybe? You know, if you're used to doing it every single year, that dog is something else. The only thing that did sort of make my ears prick up a little bit was when they said about the sidecar racer. I believe they hit a stricken car, or a stricken vehicle at least. There is cats. Hello? Hello? Goodbye. Yeah, one of the sidecar racers hit a stricken vehicle, bike, car, I don't know, something in the road. Now that sort of thing is a problem. And obviously, it could have been that the thing broke down and then a split second later they came around the corner and there was nothing that could be done. I don't know the details, but if there was time for it to be removed and it wasn't removed, that's the sort of thing I can see people getting a little bit, you know, up in arms about, or having a reasonable argument that those sorts of things should be managed better. That's not me trying to blame the death of that person on the people who run the event or anything like that. I don't know the situation. I'm just saying that were there a situation where, you know, they could have removed the vehicle, but it wasn't removed, and then someone else crashes into it and that causes a fatality, that is a serious issue. But anything beyond sort of... Thank you. Yeah, you can see what I'm saying, like, those sorts of avoidable things, they could be damaging. So as long as they keep away from those and do what they can do, the TT should be happy to continue, and if people do die through it, well then that's that. You know, you can't make an omelette without breaking a few eggs. Oh God, that's actually a horrible way of putting it. Oh, and we are back where we started in the first video. And if you remember, I started on 208 miles. I'm up to 236, so I've done 28 miles and I've got 58% of my battery remaining. So that's kind of what I think about the TT and why I don't think it's going to go anywhere. But if anything can be done that's not going to ruin the racing, they'll do it. But if it's going to have an impact on the racing, they're not going to want to. The people are not going to want to do it. If you're going to risk your life for something, you're going to want it to be what you want it to be. I would offer him some help, but he seems okay. Not like I'm not going to give him any petrol. People fall off of horses and get really badly hurt all the time, but people are happy to do pony rides. Pony rides! What if we did little motorbike rides? You're like, ah! It's going to die! Pony rides safe. When the kid's older and it can control the thing itself, the bike itself, yes, then I think the bike might be safer than the horse, because you can't control horses. And I've been bucked off horses because of plastic bags. But yes, as always, I want to hand this off to you. What do you think about the TT and its risks? I mean, I'm sure, you know, a lot of you are going to have the same view as me because I hear it a lot. Maybe you've got something else to add that I don't know about. Say, I've never been to the TT. No, don't fix it. Don't fix it, mate. They're lethal. If you did enjoy this video, please hit that like button. And if you'd like to help support this channel, please consider doing that through Patreon. Links in the description. There are many benefits to it, including this channel existing. So thanks for that. Until the next one, bye bye.